We set? We know what we're doing?
Don't clap it. Oh, he clapped. Welcome, everybody, to this awesome episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I'm one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I'm Lon Black. What the hell are we doing today?
We're having fun today.
Yeah. I'm so looking forward to
Not
this.
that any of the other episodes weren't fun.
Today,
Let's hear it.
today is the start of
Today, Junior.
our 1970s bracket of what?
Goodness.
1970s
Bracket of goodness.
of horror movies,
Uh-oh.
and of bourbons, of 40 like
There you
sweet
go,
spot
$40
bourbons.
Yeah.
And so, as you can see in front of us, we have two boxes labeled A and B. We do not know. Actually, that's not true. We do know. We had this long discussion trying to work out how we could do this and
With
still
just the three of us.
call
Not
it
know.
a blind test.
Yeah.
So we do know what's in A and what's in behind B. What we don't know is here, which you can't see because it's behind my. Oh, but you can see.
You
on,
can see
on-
mine.
You can see
We
on,
have
on
two
Logan's.
glasses.
We have glasses, and on the bottom of the glasses, it has an A and a B sticker, and we don't know which glass is which. And so part of our bracketing for the bourbons, at least, is to try each one, and we'll each determine which one we think is the best of our bourbons.
And which one gets to move on to the next bracket?
Which one gets to move on to the next bracket?
And today, let's quick show our brackets for the bourbon, since we'll do bourbon first. So as you can see, we're starting with Long Branch
I do want
versus
to
Four Roses
show some
Small
appreciation
Batch.
for
Or not
this
Long Branch.
lovely bracket. that
Thank
was
you very
created.
much.
I think it
Thank
literally
you.
took me about like 10 minutes.
Maybe six.
A lot of work
Maybe
went into
six.
that.
I was honestly,
5 of it was moving the
Yeah,
MMD
it's
logo.
I honestly was expecting Lon to have it like all done in their fonts.
Oh, no.
And like
Yeah.
No.
Movie posters for each
That would have
one.
been cool, like their logo in each spot.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe I'll change it. By the time we do episode 2 or 3 or something, maybe I'll change it. Until then, fuck off.
Or what? Yeah, when they make it to the
sorry.
final 4.
No, that's good, that's
then,
good.
Then we'll do the posters or
Right,
or
Final
the,
Four.
the actual
There you go, the
labels.
logos. So really, we're starting with Long Branch versus Four Roses Small Batch,
yes.
which is a very big distinction, because Four Roses has a lot of different batches.
And to be clear, if you did look at that bracket, it isn't Small Roses shitbox.
Did I say Small Roses?
No.
Oh,
Four
you just said
Roses.
Small
I did
Roses.
Small
You
Roses.
did.
Sorry. I haven't even drunk anything yet.
He's high on
I
life.
thought you were making fun of me.
Four Roses
I get
shitbox.
to make fun of you.
No, it's
Shitbox? Where'd that come from?
it just says SB.
Oh, I
Small
got
batch.
you. You're explaining small
Yeah.
batch. Got
I was
you.
trying
As
to be
long as
funny.
he didn't put an
Wow.
O in there, SOB.
That was
I'm sorry.
awesome. Okay, so let's
Moving along.
let's
We haven't
start.
drunk yet.
Let's start. I am so excited. We don't know which one is in our glass, A
We
or
got
B.
fresh palettes on this.
So grab one glass and start a sipping, boys.
Either
Let's-
glass doesn't matter, right?
I will
or are we
say-
doing left? Are we starting left?
No,
It
just
doesn't matter.
pick one. Doesn't matter because your left
true.
is different than my left, maybe.
Yeah, that's what she said.
Wait, still actually
Okay.
left. But
Hold the phone. So notes. I take a whiff of each of those. I can tell you right now which one's which.
Some of us aren't aficionados.
No, but I'll tell you what it is.
oh my God.
Wait, yeah.
Right?
This would be Four Roses, and this would be.
I think this is my
Long
Four
Branch.
Roses and this is my Long Branch. I bet you, because Long Branch is made with Texas mesquite.
Yes.
And that leaps off the glass.
Okay, I honestly think I know this.
Okay,
This
so
is
let's
very-
start our
we're-
tasting.
We're
here.
actually drinking now.
Oh yeah, we are actually drinking now. We are gonna. Oh, so good.
Nummy nums.
I'm 2 sips in on the first one, but I think I'm gonna jump to the second one.
Oh shit.
This is sort of like our blind taste, and we shouldn't be too quiet for too long.
Yeah, no, I know. Dead
'Cause our
air.
people
I'll
just
continue
listen
to
to the
talk. 'cause-
podcast.
Yeah,
But
I'm.
can you tell?
I thought I did based on smell. Actually, I think I'm still right. Yeah, I think I can tell. And that's just on first sip. We usually go 3 deep.
There's
I guess that came out wrong.
well, you didn't say knuckle deep,
I could
so
have gone in wrong.
big
but-
difference. But the taste is vastly different here.
Mm-hmm.
This is not close, that's not the point of this, is to try to take two bourbons that are close to each other.
And it's tough too because it's right if you're drinking different ones on different sips right after another.
Yeah.
So this brings up something.
Let's hear it.
What is preferred to cleanse the palate when drinking whiskeys?
Honestly, to me, the best is going to be water. In fact, I guess I should run down and get some water, but that's going to be the best way to me, separate it, because people do, well, you need crackers and all that. And I said, yeah, but crackers have salt and crackers have a taste. That's going to alter your taste buds. If you were to go drink whiskey after you ate pizza, it's going to taste different than you go to whiskey after you just ate sushi.
Do you think, though, is that a market that you could make a cracker that doesn't have enough salt on it?
Don't look at it.
Don't look.
Oh.
Your sticker fell off.
Yeah. Sounds like a
Don't
personal
look
problem.
at it.
But could that be? He stares
Can I just say the stare was creeping me out
Yeah, I
a
was
little
going to
bit?
say.
Is that,
Why'd you go?
I was just say, Lon, why are you hard?
So from now on,
but no,
put your pinky on the
But
bottom.
think about
Hold
it.
on.
You could make, if you made a wafer,
Yeah.
that could cleanse the palate.
A
Doesn't
wafer?
a wafer, a wafer.
It's only a wafer thing.
But that way, then you would do that, and then after you drank something, you could do a wafer that would cleanse the palate,
leave
and
it
you
there,
could
you
move
know
right
which
to the
ones
next
are-
one. We could sell these at.
I think
Bourbon
there's
Fests
people who've
and-
tried that kind of stuff.
Have they?
Yeah, because
Okay.
what they do is they go with a basic bread, like not a sourdough, but a basic.
Right. Something that's going to soak up.
Right.
But see, like you were saying though, you want something that doesn't have salt. That's not like something
Sure.
that doesn't have flavor, because that's going to affect your taste buds.
Yeah,
You're just
well,
trying to.
could be an unleavened
Maybe
bread.
you're just trying to generate saliva and trying to clear out whatever flavors are currently in your mouth. Am I wrong?
So
No.
I will.
So if
I
anybody
think it's-
steals that idea, then that means somebody actually.
I think
watches
the
show.
idea is valid.
Okay.
I just don't know if you're really going to make $1 million off that idea.
Oh no, I don't think it'd make $1 million, but you could.
What's the point of doing
But you could
anything
also
unless
do
you're
that
gonna make $1
because
million?
think about it. You could
There you go.
you could make $1
Amen.
million because then you could probably use that for wine testing, wine
Yeah.
taste tests, and
Yeah.
things like that.
Okay.
Just saying.
So I think.
Well,
I wonder. We should buy the wafers that they give you for like church and stuff. I bet you those.
Those might do. See,
That's-
it's already invented.
and they're blessed.
but it's literally the body of Christ.
Yeah.
And there's
So- and you're drinking
literally,
wine though. It's the same. thing,
literally.
right? Yeah.
So if wine is the body of Jesus, does that mean this is the body or the blood of Jesus? Does that mean this is the blood of Satan?
This is
probably.
This is probably his piss, but yeah,
Yeah, that's all right. I'm
in a good
liking
way.
it.
So I think one of the problems I think I'm going to have is I like them both.
Oh, I
of
do.
course
Oh
I
yeah,
do.
yeah.
But
That's
tell
why
you-
I'm saying it's tough.
But I can tell you this: for me, there is a clear winner, but not because I don't like the other one, but because compared to each other, there's one that's just leaps and bounds better.
Okay. I think I have my picks.
It's so funny. I feel like I'm you know how
God,
when you're at
it's so
school
good.
and you're doing an exam and
Yeah.
you know you have the right answer.
Yeah.
And so
But
you
your
write
brain's
down,
going,
you do the right answer and then when you get out of the exam room and you talk to your friends and you're like, oh my god, that first one was so easy, it was A, right? And they're like,
You're like,
no,
what?
It
No,
was
I
B.
had, yeah, I had B.
I'm like,
We're like,
oh.
what?
I feel the same way because it's like by
I
smell,
I
I
agree.
totally feel that this is Four Roses.
Right, right,
But now that I've had both of them and drunk both of them,
right. See, I could tell.
I had to go based off of taste.
I went to both. So I figured
Apparently I
what it
have
was by
COVID.
smell, and then when I tasted them, it kind of locked it in for me.
Sure.
Because I know what they make Long Branch with, and I know the process for Four Roses. Because it's a small batch, I expect it to be a little bit smoother maybe than the rest. But these are both the same. In fact, I should double check their price point here. What the difference is. Because sometimes if we're comparing a 35
pretty
by
sure small
45,
batch is 39.
that could be.
I
Like
thought they're both- I thought
$38.99.
they're both 45.
You think they're both 45?
Yeah, I thought
Mm-hmm.
based on your.
Well, I've got the list. Let me just get to it. And will somebody talk while I'm looking for it?
So I'll talk on my part here. So initially, smell wise, I went with Four Roses and Long Branch, and then immediately after tasting, I was immediately saying, okay, Four Roses, Long Branch. After multiple drinks, I started going, okay, like you were saying, it's that exam thing where I'm going, okay, wait, maybe though the Long Branch might be a little smoother, but then like he mentioned, Lon mentioned, it could be that the smoothness is the small batch.
Right, it should be.
So I started talking myself out of it, but I'm going to stick with small batch,
Yeah.
4 Roses small batch, and Long Branch.
No, I'm
So,
100%.
and for
sure.
those that can't see that are listening on SoundCloud, because we have a lot of you, we actually have like 10 people that listen.
Really?
On a regular basis.
On SoundCloud?
It's probably you. Like, but
It's him and
he's
his
like got like 10
9 alter
computers.
personalities.
No, so on my left I have my glass, and then on as small batch, 4 Roses small batch, and then on my right is Long Branch.
So currently for me, I'm the same way. This is Small Roses. Small Roses.
Again, that's twice.
Four Roses.
Now, I
small
will
batch.
say, they can't see you picking what you say, this is that, and this is that.
This is this,
All I'm going to
that
say
is that.
is, I know which one's Long Branch, and I know which one is Small Batch, and I know which one I pick over those two. So, do you know
See,
which
yeah,
one you
I haven't
pick?
even gotten to that point yet.
Oh,
I'm still.
my God, that's the
well,
whole
'cause
point of this episode, isn't it?
That's what's making it hard for me is
All right,
trying to
okay.
pick between the two. I have something I'm leaning towards, but I'm going to do one last
No
sip.
shit, it's that close for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
And
okay.
it's only because I want to look at it from the practical standpoint of, okay, what would I want to like drink on a almost like not a regular basis, but just something that like you invite friends over. It doesn't need to be like the super fancy stuff, but I also kind of want to show off at the same time.
So, and just to let you know, I did check it, they're both at the $35 price.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So this is even under $40.
Even with inflation? I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Wow.
And like I said, I've got a clear winner over those two. I love them both. I would drink either of them at any time, night or day. But between the two, I now know which bottle I would grab first.
Yes.
Easily.
I prefer this one.
Easily. And I prefer this one, but I'm not going to look at my tag yet. Only take the tag of the one
Okay.
you like.
I've made my decision.
You sure
So
about this?
This
You sure
this
about
was
this?
a tough one, but
It was a tough one, but it wasn't a tough one. It's
No.
a tough because they're both good, but the profiles are so different.
yeah.
I know which one's which,
I
but
know,
I can also
I
then
know where
tell
this would
which
fit
one
in.
I'd fit. No,
Yeah, but
I
okay.
know which one I'd prefer.
All right, are we looking? And we're looking. Let's go. Okay.
I'm really hating myself.
Are you? You get it wrong?
No, I haven't looked yet. Yes! Oh, no! Shit, no!
Oh,
What'd you pick?
B.
B.
I picked
Which
A.
I'm assuming this is what I assumed was Long Branch.
So
Oh.
again, I picked what I think is the small batch. I also picked A.
Ooh. Okay.
And so for...
And A is
So the major reveal.
unfucking believable.
What?
I was 100% sure
So
that
was
this
I.
was small batch.
I was 100%
So was
sure
I.
this was Long Branch. Here, I'll take this.
Holy
Wow.
fuck stick.
Okay, so this is
That's crazy.
Holy
Because then that
shit.
means small batch has that mesquite smoky flavor.
Well, and hotter. It's like, to me, this is way hotter.
It is.
yeah. To me, B had more of a burn.
It does.
So, wow. Okay.
Holy
I'm still
shit.
happy. Either way, I was happy with whatever I picked because they were both great. This
But-
was way
But what this
smoother
does
than
mean,
I.
though,
What this means
is Long Branch moves forward.
Yes.
Long Branch moves
Yes.
on.
And honestly, if it was Long Branch, I'm happy with either one of them.
Agreed.
I just got stuck having to actually make a
but
pick.
I've got such a thing for Four Roses that
I know.
I love all of them, and I thought for sure this one was sweeter,
Yeah.
had less burn.
I
and,
did think
and
the same
even
thing.
though the Small Roses
Well-
was delicious, I thought, whatever it is, I'm going to pick this one. It's fucking Long Branch.
I went for the burn.
I'm not upset.
I
Yeah.
was literally the same way. Like, the whole thing of the smell, I'm like,
Yeah. As soon as I smelled
Yeah.
this,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God,
this is
I love
Long
the
Branch.
smell.
Yeah.
Sweeter, honeyer.
and this
Okay.
just smell
Wow.
is harsher.
Holy that's crazy.
Wow.
So again, we should go over. This was A. No,
That
I'm sorry. That was A.
No, that was A.
That
This
was
was
A.
A.
That
and
was
that
A.
was B.
Yep.
Sorry.
And the winner was, even though you chose B,
I chose small.
there was two of us that chose A over
Yeah,
B. In
so
other words,
A is the winner, which is Long Branch.
And
Long Branch
I
moves on.
absolutely, if we had this open and we hadn't done this the blind test, and this is why we do the blind test, right?
Yeah.
Be-
'Cause you gotta-
because because I would
Absolutely.
have had a certain preconceived notion that small batch
I
was
did
my
too.
favorite.
I did too.
This
Yeah.
is my go-to whenever I go somewhere and I see it on the shelf. This is what I
Yeah.
always order.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Wow.
I love it.
Wow.
So I like that. I mean, I like the fact that I was actually able to tell between the two. I think if we did this a year ago when I first started testing this stuff, I would have been like, they both taste the same. Not knowing what to start looking for. But I like when you don't know and you have to go based off of whatever tastes best sounds.
But I
tastes
will
best for you.
say, I liked both of them for sure. But I
You
would
seem
have bet
very
my
distraught by
left
that.
nut because I was so wrong for what I thought were the right reasons. I mean, one had a little bit more spice, a little bit more heat. To me, that was the mesquite.
That's what I thought too.
A small batch should be there for a little bit more mellow, but not necessarily.
Yep.
But I thought, clear winner. I would choose any of them any day of the week. But that 1A, I was like, dude, between these two, I'm jumping for that one all the time. It was, I'm beyond words, folks.
This has baking spice in it.
Baking spice?
For tasting notes?
Yeah.
Well, that did it for me. I thought the baking spice was the fucking mesquite.
Yeah, that was very odd. Not the way I thought it would turn out.
Wow.
Very happy though.
Oh yeah, no, look, again,
That's what
there is not a bad bourbon on the book.
Well, and that's the thing is that I think that's what makes this harder. Is like it's not like we
They're
have
all good.
Whatever his name, Zachariah Harris versus small
Right.
batch. So it's
Right.
not going to be night and day difference.
Right.
But to some it may be. But yeah, that was tough.
Just blow my freaking mind.
We've grown.
here.
I know.
So in the bourbon
All right.
single
Oh, do we want to
elimination-
put on our?
Yeah, you want
There we go.
to switch to this?
So on the bourbon side of things, it is
Long Branch.
short
Wow.
stick made it to the next level. Oh, Long Branch. Sorry.
That's pretty crazy.
Wow.
I honestly thought that
I
Four
thought-
Roses would make it all the way to the end.
I agree. I thought that would make it at least to the last two.
So this was like UCLA versus Duke or something, right?
That's
Yes.
just
I don't know why I keep going.
crazy.
It's just anytime I see a bracket, I think it's still.
But you're right. I mean, and again,
they play each other.
this is why. No, I think it's different conferences.
Yeah.
And I think this is why you do the blind test, right? It's for exactly this reason. It's like I would have gone into this with a preconceived notion that Four Roses was going to be the one I'd pick.
Yeah.
Now, do you think anything like? So here's my question: how was your day today? Just in general, you don't got to get into specifics, but was it like an average day?
Average
I think
day.
that this is going to work more into the movie thing than this.
Yeah, but I'm just thinking like, well, just because if you go into it like, I've had a bad day, maybe you'd lean more towards like the mesquite side of thing,
Yeah,
right? Like you're
maybe,
kind of like,
maybe.
I just want to,
But to me, it was actually a little
Need
bit
testosterone.
I think it was actually simpler than that. It's like typically I do not like the burn,
Right.
and this one I felt had way more burn than this did.
And it does. I agree with you.
And but it's like
which is what
typically,
made me pick it.
but typically when I've drank this in a bar,
And just to make a point of that is whenever you go out to a bar, or even myself, if there's Four Roses small batch, that's what we get.
absolutely,
Even if it's sitting right next to the Long Branch bottle.
every time.
Now you got to switch it up.
And I'll be honest and say, I will.
Yeah.
Oh, you can get off the bracket now, by the way. We've been
Oh,
talking.
nah, they don't need to see
okay.
us.
Matthew McConaughey will get more of my money.
No shit.
Yeah.
Way to go, Mr.
Brand
McConaughey.
ambassador.
That's,
You're a psycho
this-
motherfucker, but damn, that's some
I had one
good
of those
whiskey.
stressful days, so that's why I went more with the burn.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you think that's why you went with the
So I was more like, because honestly, this was like super hard toss up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I loved how smooth this was.
Yeah, yeah.
Which would have been A, which would have been a long range.
Sure.
But I thought, you know what? I'm feeling the burn, and then
I get it.
Richard Simmons and. But yeah, so
I get it,
This
but-
was great though. I liked this. This was fun.
I would say
Do we
I
want to
had.
keep our stickers or?
Yeah, we're gonna need them for the next round or whatever. I can get more. Anyway,
it's only paper.
I
Just
thought to myself,
Post-it notes.
well, all right. So what kind of day I had? I had a normal day. It was busy. Didn't get a lot of stuff done. But no bad news. No.
Yeah, no.
No site
It wasn't a
website
bad
broke.
day,
You
but
know,
it
it
was
was
just-
like
Today was a good day.
Yeah.
today was a good day.
Yeah.
Not a great day, but on the plus side of days.
Yeah.
So I came in kind of
was a
melancholy.
I
with
was
that.
excited. I was excited for today.
I was excited for this.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say,
well, that's
maybe
what-
that's what it was. I was just excited to get here for this.
But
Yes.
I think the problem was, I thought I'd be able to tell. I didn't know until I smelled them and tasted them. I thought, I know exactly which one's which.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Because until that time, I thought, well, I don't know. I'm thinking this could be smoother, and that would be smokier or something. But it didn't pan out that way at all.
This does make me happy though, because for a white elephant type gift or whatever for work, I ended up with Four Roses small batch.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And it's
so
wow,
now,
good on you,
yeah,
man.
I had
That's a
not
good
had
gift.
it before, so
Yeah.
this was first time trying it. So I'm happy now. I can actually drink that.
That's awesome. Well, good.
All right.
That was fantastic.
So-
I'm so happy we did it this way.
Yeah,
Because that's amazing to me.
yeah. I'm with you. I'm with you. Okay, do we want to switch to the movies?
Movies.
We're switching to movies.
Okay.
Okay.
So, if you remember from last week when we gave out what the brackets were, do we want to? I'll
I'm
switch
just gonna
over.
keep drinking.
So this week's brackets that we're doing is Halloween and Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Longest name ever.
Yes.
Now, the difference with this one is that there's no hidden taste test or blind reveal.
No.
We're going to talk about the movies, and we'll each make a decision as to which movie we think should move on based on whatever we discuss. And we can change each other's minds. We can try to change each other's minds.
Absolutely.
Or maybe before we vote, just influence one or the other. But I'll tell you, I don't necessarily, off the top of my head, have a clear winner just from looking at them.
I'll be honest and say I was shocked that I'm in the same boat.
Really? You thought you'd love Halloween more than Invasion?
To me, it was a given that this
Sure.
was a
As soon as we said Halloween, I was like, okay, that's gonna be.
It's gotta be
That's
a-
gonna be probably either top 2, top 4.
See,
It's gonna
I
be-
don't think it will be.
But then once we paired it with Invasion of the Body Snatchers, I was like, shit.
Well,
to be honest, I think it's one of those things where even when we did pair it, I still thought Halloween's going to be the clear winner. I watched all two movies.
so good.
I
All
watched-
2 movies. We did, just to let you know, we picked the brackets, then we went and watched all the movies again, just so we're fresh with them. Even though I've seen Halloween like a billion times, we just want to watch
literally
it
a
again.
billion. But and this is the point of my story.
It's playing in the
Is the fact that Invasion of the Body Snatchers I have absolutely seen before, but I would probably say I'd only seen it maybe 2 or 3 times before.
Okay.
And what I was shocked about was it is a genuinely unnervingly scary movie.
Yes.
Absolutely. I do want to point something out with this because I know there's going to be hardcore horror fans out there that are almost as hardcore as us. This is not the original.
Correct.
There was
No.
the original, was in the 50s.
This is only 70s.
Yep.
Right.
1956.
So let's put that in perspective.
This one was 70.
This
what
was
did we say
a
this was?
remake.
78.
78.
But to me, this one defined that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody goes back to the one from the 50s because it was nowhere near the same sort of level of storytelling and
Effects.
effects, which were which could hold up today.
Again, that was another thing. I mean, clearly, obviously, it's the 70s, and the 70s has a style, even the style of the way movies were shot.
Clothing.
Yeah, well, obviously that one. But I mean,
There's a lot more hair
Yeah.
oh my
growing in
God,
places.
it's so fucking ridiculous. But it's like, and way too many pantsuits. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one of these things where if you could somehow transpose those parts out, like the way it was shot, despite what I just said, the way it was shot, the effects that are in it were very convincing.
Absolutely, 100%.
There were no like kind of stupid ray gun looking like
Right,
like,
which
you
was
know,
clearly a special effect done after or
Right,
post.
you know,
Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
Practical effects. It was all very good practical effects.
Absolutely. I was thoroughly impressed.
And it was very simple effects too. You know what they did for the cocoon look?
right.
Yeah.
You know what they did for that?
No.
Cotton.
I was going to say cotton.
Oh, really?
Maybe?
It was cotton and slime, which they use, which is petroleum jelly and I believe gelatin or something like that. And they make a slime out of it and they put it on with that. And looks perfect. Looks exactly the way you'd think it should look for a pod.
But I mean, I just think it's such an interesting story, you know, and it's one of those things where it's another one of these movies where when you rewatch it, and again, technically, I would almost class this as like a first time watching only for the fact that it's been such a long time since I watched it. But like, you know, there are characters that you see very, very early on in the movie that are clearly acting, you know, without emotion,
Right.
like very regimented,
Yep.
you know, that are clearly being controlled like very, very early on. Yeah, I mean, it's. I thought it was great. One of the couple of the interesting things. So, in some of the notes I was reading about it, they purposely picked Leonard Nimoy, or Leonard Nimoy wanted to do this film because they wanted to try and get him out of Spock,
right,
as a character.
Right. And what movie did they put him in?
Well, but the point is it's
One
like
with no emotion.
Alien.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. I mean, it's like, but he played Spock. I mean, it's like he was so like, especially towards the end when he was, spoiler, when he was converted.
Yeah, but he had more emotion after he was converted, because technically he was that the whole time, right?
Yeah.
So when he was arguing with everybody about, oh no, you think it's nothing, you guys are psychosis, and then he comes down and he sits in the car and it's the other pods or with the other snatched by. Then he's more straight-laced. You're like, well, he was pretty emotion-filled up in the room when he was talking to everybody.
Yeah.
So, but then again, you got to take that with a grain of salt, right? This is a horror movie. It's not exactly. There were a lot of holes in the story, but then what horror movie doesn't have holes in the story?
You could make the same. And the nice thing is everything you guys said about Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you could carbon copy that for Halloween.
Yeah, just especially the part about the effects where they used cotton slime for the pods. You could absolutely say that about Halloween.
Yeah. And I think they also, you got people that are you're such a dick. You got emotionalist,
Well, all
Myers,
right, that's what you were going for. But.
Yes, but no, but practical effects wise, there's not much blood in the movie, nor is there much blood in Invasion of the Body Snatchers, right? I mean, it's that goop, but it's not blood per se. But yeah, I thought that they this was way tougher than I thought, because I immediately, as soon as I see Halloween, I'm normally like, yeah, that's it. But at this point, I was
rewatching them. You had a new perspective.
Yeah, and I started looking at it from the perspective of, okay, this is the pinnacle for Halloween, but then Invasion of the Body Snatchers was still like, oh shit,
okay,
now
so,
do I need to? It's almost like these fucking things.
So let's put this more in perspective of something else. So we got surprised by the quality or the storyline or how good the movie Body Snatchers was, because it's been a long time since we've seen that one.
Sure.
Right.
Halloween, we've all watched a billion times.
Right.
However,
we're still very critical of it.
Halloween has set a genre. Halloween really anchored in the slasher films. It was before Friday the 13th by 2 years, even though they were filmed at the same time. It predates any other slasher film. So you got to take into account what Halloween did for the horror genre.
I do agree with you on that, because, if you think about it, there was no original Halloween, right? There was an original, so they had something already to work with for Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
That's true. It was a remake.
So I do agree, but there has been, there's been covers of songs that I've liked more than the originals.
Sure.
Same thing with, in this case, obviously I like the 78 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers versus the original 56.
And you love anything by Nickelback, whatever they've covered. You love that. So.
This is how you remind me.
And Alive.
But it's been tough to try and, because when I look at both movies side by side, it's like, okay, they both have a lot of tension and a lot of what ifs,
sure.
and then you get to
suspense.
they both have that dramatic ending, right? You've got the Kiefer Sutherland, spoiler alert, obviously.
Right.
Kiefer, no, sorry,
Donald
Sutherland,
Jesus,
dad. Donald Sutherland, pointing and screeching, when you're thinking, oh yeah, he totally wouldn't have, and then you've got Michael Myers falling off a building and disappearing. So that I don't know if we want to get into winners just yet, but I did eventually make my decision. So.
That's where we come to, is you've made a decision.
Yes.
Have you made a decision?
I have.
You got some more to say about it?
I have, but
you've got more to say.
But I did have a couple of. So I did do a little bit of research on both movies. I mean, obviously, I already knew.
So
about
you're showing
that.
off.
In
is
what
you're saying.
regard?
Okay.
In what regard? What
So
kind
so
of research?
so interesting fact.
Trivia?
Trivia, but not necessarily trivia with
Okay.
questions
Okay.
attached to it.
All right, dig it. Let's hear it.
So right towards the beginning of the movie, there's a guy that comes running up to them and going, "You're next, you're next, you're next." Remember that guy?
Yeah, he was from.
He was
can
from
I
the
say-
original.
That's from Kevin McCarthy, who is in the original.
Original.
He's from the. He's the guy from the original.
And
He was.
movie,
It
the
was
original Body
reversed though,
Snatchers.
wasn't he? In the car,
Yes.
and somebody else came up, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
He was the one.
Correct.
Yeah.
But that was just it. That was the whole play on. He already knew. What? Anyway.
But then the other interesting thing was when they're in the taxi and they're driving to the airport.
Yeah.
And the taxi driver ultimately goes like, "Oh, I've got some 2 H's in the car or whatever." So the taxi driver is Don Siegel. He was the director of the 1956.
I did not know
movie.
that. That's very
Okay.
cool.
That's pretty interesting.
Okay. I like that one. I like that one.
It's actually very similar scene to when you see Kevin McCarthy at the beginning. There's a banjo player that's playing some like anti-war song or
Yes.
whatever.
Yes.
The banjo guy looks a little bit like Jerry Garcia. It's not actually Jerry.
I was gonna
Okay.
say,
I
is
was
that what
waiting
you're
for
gonna
that.
big
I was
reveal?
waiting for
But
that.
he's not singing or playing, and Jerry Garcia is.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
it's actually Jerry
Did
Garcia.
Jerry just not want to be on camera?
I don't know.
Okay.
And then the only
Sounds
other
like a
thing
good
that
cameo
I had
opportunity.
down here for that one, and then I'll switch to Halloween ones because I actually found some new things I didn't know about Halloween.
Okay.
So when the '78 version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers was released in Italy,
Oh
it
boy,
was
here we
called
go.
Terror from Deep Space. Because
Okay.
they felt that Invasion of the Body Snatchers would be too confusing. However, when the 1956 version was released, it was just called Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Interesting.
And that didn't confuse them.
Those wacky Italians.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They
Hey.
have a word for everything. Okay, so just
From the Halloween side now.
from the Halloween side.
All right.
So actually, some things are actually kind of interesting. So when it was first released on TV, because there were some parts that were edited out,
Right.
they lost time, but they needed to make up time to make it fit within a time slot.
Okay. All right.
And so they added parts in, and they filmed extra scenes around the sanitarium at the beginning that actually give a little bit more indication of why he went after Laurie Strode, and like
really?
why
It
she
sounds like
was
Logan
picked.
already knows about this.
And it's one of the things that they build on a little bit more in Halloween 2,
Okay.
and some of the subsequent ones. So I thought that was kind
But
of
they only did that for
the TV version.
the TV
Correct.
version.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they had to cut out the boobs and blood.
Right.
Well,
right.
they do crop the boobs now, but so to go along that, just to go into that, unless that's one of your
No.
questions, they do mention Michael's middle name in one of those scenes.
Is it Justin?
No,
Is it Ophelia? So it's like mom.
no, you got it. No, yeah. Wow.
Affiliate. You
wow.
can make it Oscar.
I was gonna say, yeah, you gotta go all freaking.
It was all-
Affiliate.
Wow. Wow.
do you know what the movie original movie title was?
Wait,
Well,
when he
hold
was
on,
gonna
I didn't-
finish-
I didn't give you my
the
answer.
story. Yeah,
It's Audrey.
See, that was almost
Fuck
as bad
that.
as
It is not.
Yes, yeah. They when they're talking with Donald Pleasance about what happened, they said
Pleasance.
They say Michael Audrey Myers. They actually they say his full
Not in
name.
the actual movie. They do this
That's
in the
TV
cutout, in the
in the-
TV
yes,
version,
yes.
in the part that they added
Wow, no
back
wonder
in.
you're turning crazy.
Yeah, that's why they cut that out
Yeah.
from the real film.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
What was the original script of the movie titled?
So
It's the
they
shape.
No, they originally. Now I've heard against this, but I'm assuming you're thinking the Babysitter Murders.
Yes.
I did see what's his name? The producer.
Yeah.
Blonsky.
Yeah.
He was on record saying it was
Egyptian guy.
He was on. No, that was the other guy. That's Mustafa Akkad.
Yeah, Mustafa's.
Sorry, I said producer. I think he was. What was he? Anyway,
All right, here we
he,
go.
Finance
You
guy.
talk,
he
I'll look it
basically
up.
went on film saying it was never called the Babysitter.
Really?
Yeah, Babysitter
Yeah,
Murders.
I was gonna say.
Now that's the thing, though. There's other people that have said, "Oh yeah, it was this." Maybe that was like a working title at some point. He swears it had nothing to do with that, but
So on a similar kind of vein to that kind of questioning, like the very thing that Lon's saying is like, oh, you know, it created a genre, it created like the slasher. Well, in reality, there's a lot of argument for that.
Sure.
Because, you know,
would you want to say reinvigorated?
maybe, but
Yablanis.
Yablans, there you go.
Yablans, yeah.
But so
What's his first name?
another movie that we have in our pool, our brackets, actually, our next episode, Black Christmas. A lot of people think that is considered the first seasonal slasher movie. And the only reason it's not made a bigger deal is the director doesn't consider it a slasher movie. It's a suspense horror movie.
Yeah.
But other people say it's a slasher movie, but it isn't a classic slasher movie because it's like there's not really lots of slashing.
Right. I mean, he kills one person with a bag.
Well, you don't see a lot of slashing. Okay, we can get into that.
Yeah,
We'll
well,
get to that one.
but to the point though, that does dispute then that this being the first slasher movie.
Sure.
And again, I don't think I said it was the first slasher movie so much as the one that's established slasher movies.
Yeah, from
did you
Halloween,
notice how he enunciated stab in that? Established.
absolutely from Halloween created, let's say, the genre of the slasher, and that spawned, you know, Friday the 13th and Freddy and you know, all that kind of stuff.
Technically, Friday the 13th was shot at the same time, so it didn't inspire it. It was being done at the same time.
They
just
could have
didn't
released
get
it, but they
released.
chose not to.
But
They didn't.
But
they-
wasn't Friday the 13th not originally called Friday the 13th?
Correct. It was originally called Camp Blood.
Right, and the reason why they picked the date name was because they figured the same kind of thing that Halloween did was, well, now we basically have an excuse to do sequels. ad
Correct.
infinitum.
But it was also why they originally delayed the release date because they didn't want to directly compete with Halloween when Halloween first came out.
Well, then that's their fault.
But because Halloween was already done, but
that was smart on their part, though, right?
But Halloween didn't have a mask originally. But when they saw Friday the 13th was creating a movie, and their character, in fact, actually no, the first one
First
didn't
one
have
the
a
first one
mask.
didn't
It was
have
the
it.
second one that
Yeah,
Because they
you're
talked
trying.
about they
The
wanted a
Prime.
mask. That's why actually Friday the 13th. I think I've got those mixed up.
Yeah, it's okay.
But still,
he's old.
I think
That was like a reboot.
established. more like a shutdown.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got mine.
So
I've got
we've
mine.
got our picks. Do we want to use our little barrels just
No.
we forgot
I
about
think
them?
we should just.
Okay.
All right, I guess we could
We
just
could
so we
say
don't get
one was
influenced.
Halloween, two was Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be influenced by your picks, so
Yeah, I don't
I'll
think
just
so
say
either.
which one I want to do.
All right, you go first since you're
Okay, so to me, Halloween established a genre. It has iconic resonance throughout all of horror movies. And Invasion of the Body Snatchers was one of those movies that was so well made. It was made way better than Halloween was made. It was the storyline and the directorial and the cinematography and the special effects.
What about budget?
Well, I don't know the budgets on either one of these.
I
I
do.
was gonna say I've assumed he's got the number.
Okay, let me hear it.
So
I don't
talk
think
about
Not
I'll
that it's
change
gonna
my mind.
talk about
Right.
better made.
Yeah.
So Halloween was made for $325,000.
Right.
25,000 of that was Donald Pleasance, and 150,000 was the Panaflex cameras
Okay.
and rentals.
Wow.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, same year, so same kind of money.
Sure.
3.5 million.
Wow.
Well, there
So
you go.
literally 10 times.
There you go.
Because
amount
it's
of budget.
truly
Sure.
the difference between
Different sets, different-
it was a Invasion of the Body Snatchers
Oh, yeah.
was a movie studio movie.
Correct.
Hence, it had big names in it, and it had you know.
Do we
Several big
Do you have the
names.
box office numbers?
Yes.
Final box office numbers?
Well, I don't know about the
I shouldn't say final, but for that year.
for that
This is,
year.
that I can see as more of a swing.
So,
point.
so here is to that point. So, Invasion of the Body Snatchers budget 3.5 million. It grossed 25 million.
Okay.
So, so obviously with
Still way
VHS sales,
profitable.
it's made way more money.
Yes. That includes VHS sales, not the sale for the first year or something.
No.
That's
So
overall.
this
over
no.
all
That's
the time.
beta, because we're
25
talking 78.
No,
Beta
25
Max.
million is just theatrical gross.
Excuse me.
Don't do that.
So again, there's more money in there because of VHS sales and stuff like that.
Okay, so you got overall sales.
Budget Halloween budget $325, as I said. It grossed $47.1 million until Paranormal
Activity.
Thank you. Sorry. Halloween was the largest
Grossing.
How do we say not ratio? As in
yeah,
budget to profit.
Budget to profit.
Yeah, budget to profit. Okay.
Okay. Because Blair Witch was in there, though, right? Because Blair Witch was made with what, 60,000?
Blair Witch was a marketing scam.
Hey, man, still a better marketing scam than Skinamarink.
I was going to say it's almost the exact marketing scam.
But they did it better. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, so you can go back to your
Yes, you can.
So
enthrall
to
us
me,
with your acumen.
based on influence in the industry and just the simple fact that it built an icon from a single movie, as opposed to Snatchers that did not necessarily build an icon, I have to go with Halloween.
Okay.
Warwick.
So I will ultimately 100% agree with you. I still ultimately picked Halloween as my pick, but I will say, as I said before, it's like I was genuinely impressed with how good Invasion of the Body Snatchers was, and
No doubt.
and
it was
and-
tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, I
Put
thought
it
it
that
would be
way.
a landslide.
Like I rewatched it, thinking, perfect example. So I was not going to rewatch Halloween purely for the fact that I'm like, I've seen it so many times, I do not need to rewatch Halloween.
Right?
I haven't seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers for at least a couple of decades, so I watched that and was like, I was genuinely scared in some parts.
Right.
Generally,
Right.
it was like
it was very suspenseful.
very suspenseful. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to watch Halloween again. And I think to the point you were saying, I think if Halloween was a one and done, it would make this decision even harder. Because I do think, as we saw with the budget, I do think Invasion of the Body Snatcher was a better made film, better acted.
We were right to put it in the brackets.
But yeah, it was.
Well, that was the randomizer that put those two together. Right?
Well, sure,
Which
but
is
we were right
insane.
to
Like, in
include
general-
it
in
as
general.
as one of the top 8 movies for the 70s.
Right.
I think it earned its place.
But as I said, I went with Halloween solely for the fact that you're 100% correct. It created a franchise that, I'm sure they'll make another movie, so it's still going today.
I think they're going TV now. Is the last I heard.
I think
really?
so too. More origin stuff, probably.
Yeah.
So Halloween's my pick.
Okay.
Logan?
Again, I was originally, once I saw that Halloween was going to be in our list, I thought everything would be a landslide. But this was way harder than I thought, which troubles me because now if this was hard, I can just imagine
Right,
if
when
this,
it gets
what
down
the
to
next
it.
ones, what
Oh,
it goes
yeah.
up against. But I do believe that I had to go the route of Halloween, mostly because of very similar to what you guys were saying. It's just been, that was one of those movies where you can watch it over and over again and constantly either find something new or talk to yourself and be like, oh my gosh, I remember when I watched this when I was younger. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is very similar, but you've got that one, that the ending, it was still an open ending, with Donald Sutherland, got it right that time, doing this, that's still iconic, but also you've got, there was nothing that came after it, sort of like you were saying, it kind of ended. If they were both one and dones, this would be 1,000 times harder, right? You would have to try and decide, but just the fact that Michael Myers has been something that has scared so many people, and it's branched off into all these things, some great, some not, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, you could say that,
There were
there's been
multiple
spin-offs from
spin-offs.
this.
There have been
you
multiple
could even
remakes.
say,
Remakes
Yeah.
of it.
yeah, and then, even some of it's influenced a whole bunch of movies
It
on
has.
top of that.
Absolutely has.
But Michael Myers was one of those icons that just, you can't get past that. And the budget thing, proves that, hey, word of mouth is great. You can throw, if it always makes me wonder, what if, Halloween had a $3.5 million budget? Honestly, though, I think that's where you find a good director.
Yeah, I agree.
You work with what you have, and it's I'm still a big fan of the what I don't see is probably better than what I do see.
Right.
So that's why I'm still not a huge fan of gore and blood and spewing everywhere like your Tokyo gores and stuff like that. But
I don't gotta have that.
It's got its place, but for me, I want that. My brain can think of way worse of what happened to that dog than it just strangled it. No, I'm sure he broke its neck and maybe pissed in its mouth afterwards. No, but wow, no. So Halloween's going to be the winner in this one, but it was way tougher than I thought it was.
I agree. Again, another one that I thought would have been a clear sweep. That was
just
not
like
a clean sweep.
No.
But it was great.
On another note too, I did finish both.
I'm
still
very
close. So one other thing I did want to say, I think the other thing that's interesting, and tell me if you guys agree or not, I think the other thing for me, why I haven't looked at Invasion of the Body Snatchers as a movie that I can rewatch, is it seems old to me. It seems like a movie from the 70s.
Sure.
Halloween. Obviously, they were literally released on the same year, but Halloween just seems like a newer movie.
But the clothing and everything else is obvious that they're in the 70s.
But I think in reality, when you think about it, it's like, think about where everything is set.
Okay.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers, there's lots of things where it's set out in San Francisco, in the big cities, and you see the cars, and you see more and more things that tells you that it's in the 70s. When you look at
but that's because it was a micro universe. It was just on like these two streets.
But that's I think
and
that's
a little
where
bit of a
Halloween
sanitarium
shined, is that they couldn't do that. If they had that bigger budget, they would have had the shots of, there's all the cars driving, showing you what's going on, stuff like that. A wide
spot of the sanitarium, because really a lot of it was just a fence and rain.
Well,
you didn't know it was a sanitarium or a parking lot.
And the other thing, and John Carpenter is like famous for this. If you ever have a chance to watch the DVD specials of Assault on Precinct 13 and of Halloween, like those two, Halloween obviously made his career,
right?
But those two movies, when his first two, not his first two, I think, Deep Space, Dark Space.
Not Deep Space. I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, the point is, it's like, though he had so little budget for those movies that he was like, okay, camera, hide behind this hedge. Okay, now pull it out, start filming. Okay, walk down the hill. Okay, stop filming, move. Because in other words, he didn't have the money to get permits, and didn't have everything was very much kind of guerrilla filmmaking.
Sure.
Because he could save so much money from Dark Star.
Good.
Damn it! I was trying to get to it before you got to it.
I love John Carpenter, and I think you see a lot of that in this movie. And I guess back to my point, I just think I think part of the reason why Halloween, I think, is as watchable as it is yes, there are little things that tell you that it's from the 70s, but I think
you could suspend yourself enough to believe that because anytime.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember. I watched it in the 80s. That's when I watched it. I didn't watch it in the 70s.
True. Yeah. Same here. Most of us. Yeah.
The one thing, to go back to John Carpenter, the portion of the movie that I still to this day, and I finally eventually watched the director's cut or director's commentary, and they described what he did was that scene where Laurie is backing up to the closet, and you slowly see his face. Oh my God, that scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
And I always wondered how he did that. And then when they found out, all he had was just a light with something covered over top of it, and then he turned it up slowly, and it was
just a dimmer switch,
just enough so that you could see it. Because I'm like, the camera didn't move with her. The camera stayed. She's the one that moved. And
correct.
Then how did he start?
And then you realize she was moving closer to him, and to this day, I agree. It was
I'm like, he's right there.
And again, to exactly the point that we just said, it's like. And so much of what you see is filmed the way it was because they didn't have the money for the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
Sure,
and
that's
so
why they use dimmer switches.
and so they had to come up with cheap solutions,
Which
to
are
problems.
probably used to this day, right?
I'm sure, but again, it's when all of a sudden you get given this huge budget, it's very easy to look at it and go, okay, well, great, now we can have like 20 lights and light the thing perfectly, and now all of a sudden everything isn't quite scary because it's just
Yeah, it looks fake.
Yeah,
it looks
you
like
know.
you planned it, right?
right.
Yeah. Agreed.
The other thing I did think was funny was it's always a big pet peeve of mine, obviously pre-CGI, when you see, especially street scenes, where as cars pull up, you can see the shooting camera lights, like in the window,
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah,
windows,
reflections and whatnot. Yeah.
and it's like, oh god,
Yeah.
it's so annoying when you can still see that. Anyway,
All right, so bottom line is we should show
Yeah,
the
yeah.
bracket now because the
Show
bracket.
the bracket.
Well, you got to get to it first.
Uh-oh.
Don't
You
switch
turned off.
yet.
You
She go dying on me.
Don't
Nice.
switch yet. All right.
Switch it good.
Now we know that.
There it goes.
Oh, what you do? No, man.
When's the
Ta-da.
next bracket? Halloween moves on to Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Somebody out there is going to go, oh, yeah, of course it did. I got that a long time. Well, it was a little tougher than that.
Yeah.
It was a little tougher than that.
Like honestly,
Go ahead and comment and
before
let us
you
know.
dismiss it, rewatch Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Right? The 70s version, of course.
Yes,
78.
and tell us whether you thought it was a close
Yeah.
call, because I think it really was. I think it was a very close.
I agree. And I enjoyed the shit out of this episode.
This was fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
This
was
this
way
was
tougher
awesome.
than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, but
On
that
both
was the
parts.
fun. Honestly, the bourbon blew me away. I'm still flabbergasted by that whole thing. Is flabbergasted?
Flabbergasted
old
or
people word?
upset?
I think it is
he's
flabbergasted.
upset that he was wrong.
I'm just filibustered over this whole.
Mr. Smith goes to Washington over here.
Thank you for joining us. Hope you like the brackets because now next week is the movie bracket is.
Well, let's cut it back over. Bam.
Yeah, there you go. The movie bracket for next week is The Omen versus Black Christmas.
Ooh.
Again, we've watched these now, but I don't think it's as clear cut as you might think it is, people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is Uncle Nearest versus Few.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
So that'll be interesting because again, a little bit of preconceived notions of few for me.
Sure.
But I don't think I've had
That it's good or bad.
I think I was middling. I did look that up, and it's like I think I gave it a 2.5, so literally middling.
Do you
I'm
remember?
go- I'm going-
We didn't end up rating Uncle Nearest, though.
No,
did we?
I say I don't.
I don't think we did. I think I was the only
we've
one
done
that drank it.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I think you're right. Because that was just last episode that you
Yeah.
broke that open. I don't think we've. Well, no. I must have tasted it.
Did you?
Anyway,
think you
let's
did.
find out. All right.
On
so
to the next.
thank you very much for coming. Hope you like the brackets.
Social media.
Social media.
Media.
Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends.
And please
And
comment. Please comment and
yeah,
tell us
wanna-
what you think.
We're ready for debates.
Yeah. Comment. Let
Big
us know.
debate.
Warwick over here is a master debater.
Oh my
I am a master
God,
debater.
we saw that.
Lon thinks he's a cunning linguist.
Everybody ready? Here we go. All right, let's get the hell out of this one.
And we're done.
Thank you.